All right. So I am going to be configuring a Cisco router to my asterisk switch, and I haven't been live in a while, so I figured that why the frick not? Um, Hold on. Make sure I have Dr. Pepper in my cup because I cannot configure a Cisco router without Dr. Pepper. All right, so this is going to be pretty interesting here. Hey guys, how are y'all all doing? Yes, I am still doing a dial-up ISP. I just redid my entire server rack. Excuse me. Great. I just redid my entire server rack, and I need to bring some phone lines into my 8-port modem on the back of my Cisco 2600 router. And then I have a web page on my website that's set up. It's just not public yet that I need to make public about the whole dial-up ISP and DBS stuff. So that will be coming soon. Do you think I can log on to it yet? Oh yeah, of course. Like I said, I'll make a community Discord post on my channel when it's up, when everything's up, and I'll put the link to the web page that's going to be on. I'll put it up and stuff, but on the frick, I'm so distracted right now. I'm sorry. Yes, I will make a community post once the dial-up ISP stuff is up, and I'll have a link to my web page where it gives you the instructions on how to get set up with that. I don't really understand all the server stuff you're doing, but I'm here for it. Oh, cool. We're glad to have you. Glad you're here. Share my screen here in a second, start configuring this router. Can it support 56K? It should be able to. It should be able to support 56K. The question you should be asking yourself is, are you going to be able to have a good enough VoIP connection to my gateways to be able to get a 56K connection? I have never gotten a 56K connection, ever. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I need to freaking I need to set all that up. But yeah, like I said, I'll make a post on my community like YouTube pages type thing whenever that's up and running, and make sure people know that's up and running. The only thing I'm worried about with that is like I'm on the Tanamex network, so everyone from Tanamex will be able to dial in. And if you don't want to get on the Tanamex network to access my stuff, then I'll just give you a SIP registration directly to my asterisk switch, and you can register an ATA to it and hook that up to your modem. What is your thought on free PBX, and would you ever use it? That is a pretty good question there. I've heard a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about free PBX. I personally don't like it. However, I use it for my school, and I have my school on a free PBX network, and it's been great. Um, I think the issue with it for me is that it's too easy for me. And second thing with free PBX, I don't like where they're going as a company, and I don't like how it says free PBX, but to get any cool features, you have to pay like $100 per module. I was trying out Fusion PBX the other day and trying to install Fusion PBX because pretty much they can do a lot that free PBX can, but you don't have to pay for any extra modules. But their installer was broken, so I just I couldn't even get Fusion PBX to work correctly. I set up my own PBX and free PBX, and it's great for me. I just got a new phone, a Polycom VBX 301. Nice. I have a Polycom VBX 450 It's been a great phone. I'm thinking about switching out to a Cisco like 8851 3PCC, and then I'm gonna get a Cisco 8861 CUCM phone and join a friend's CUCM network. I'm also gonna trunk my asterisk system into there. So it's funny coming from me, but I don't like I I don't like Cisco phone systems that much. To be completely honest with you, I mean, like I like CME. CME is awesome, and I like a couple other things. But I mean, CUCM is cool and all, but I don't like how resource intensive it is, and I just don't like how it seems like a lot like free PBX. No offense to anyone using free PBX, but it just seems like all the children are using free PBX and CUCM now, and so it takes away the cool aspect of it because everyone's using it now. Plus, I've never had good luck with it, and Cisco phone systems make me want to commit war crimes. So I prefer not to mess with Cisco phone systems. However, I don't mind joining other people's Cisco phone systems as long as I don't have to do any configuration on that stuff. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll start configuring this router to switch. How do I do this? Presents, share screen, select window, uh, screen 2, mute website notifications while sharing. Yes. Okay, let's make sure y'all can see that. Can you see the stream, guys? I am Ethan though, but I am Ethan though, but have you ever messed with a D-Slam to make a DSL provider? Um, I have not messed with the D-Slam, though I know how they work and I want to get one. I would like to get a Cisco 6015. Um, a friend of mine has one, but yeah, I would like to get one. I want to get a CMTS of some sort someday too. Okay, so this router is a Cisco 2951 router. I literally just got it in the mail about 30 minutes ago. Um, it's been great, though it is pretty weird because there's a lot of these weird logs that I have never seen before, and like booting up, it seems like the boot up sequence on these 2951s are a lot different than all the other ones. It's also interesting to note that this 2951, um, hold on. Okay, so this 2951, it's also interesting to note that this 2951 freaking runs its own version of software, which is very interesting. Like, I have the entire 2900 series of Cisco routers, so I got the 2901, 2911, 2921, and 2951. The 2901, the 2911, and the 2921 will all run the same Cisco iOS version. They will all run the same software, and it's the same. So I'll show you here. Actually, can I show that? I don't think I can, so I won't show that. But if I go on Cisco's website and I search up 2900 series router iOS versions, if I want to upgrade my router, it's the same. The 2900 package will do, like I said, all those 3 routers. But the 2951 router has its very own iOS package, which, like I said, is pretty interesting. So I wonder why they done that. But anyways, let's see here. Concerning how I set the host name of this router a little bit ago, and it did not save the config. Uh, Let's make sure that that saves the config. See, like all this, I've never seen this before in a Cisco router. I hope this thing's not screwed. Does Cisco offer these older iOS images for free? I don't think you can get them from Cisco's website directly because they're kind of proprietary, but there is, I'll just go ahead and show this because, I mean, it's publicly accessible. If there is this library right here, CIOS dot whatever this is right here, and it has a whole bunch of different software on here, like a whole bunch of different software. Like there's there's crazy proprietary stuff in there, but there is all these are Cisco router stuff. So if I find Cisco 29 series router, then here is every single, well, a huge collection of Cisco iOS images. So yeah, just waiting for this thing to boot. Also interesting to note, I have a Cisco 3945. What's in that CML folder? Hold on, let's look what's in that CML folder. Um, I don't know what this is. Yeah, but there's some crazy cool stuff in here. Yeah, no problem. Oh, and by the way, if you're gonna connect to this, go to this, set right click this PC, do add network location, add a network location, you know, type in that address, do FTP // that, set authentication to anonymous authentication, and then you should be able to connect to it. It's rather takes forever to do that. See, very, very freaking concerning that it's asking me this because I set the host name on this. So if that host name is not set, maybe I have the config, maybe the config register is set incorrectly on this thing. Like I don't even know what all these logs are. I've never seen these logs before ever. Let's make sure that host name is no, it's not. See, it didn't save the config. I set the host name to test, wrote the memory, and then reloaded the router. Very concerning. Let's see this. Yeah, I'm thinking that the config register might be set to 0x2142. So I'm going to try to set the configuration back to 0x2102 and see if that has anything to do with it. Because that's very concerning how that's, maybe that's what all those logs are about. Okay, let's do this. Wait for all my FXS supports to come up, because this is what we're going to be in configuring. Zero X2102. Make sure that's right real quick. I think it is. Yes, it is right. Okay, so I set the config register to 2102. Let's go ahead and exit out of there, write the memory. As you can see, I just built the configuration. It's in the flash. Looks like this thing was upgraded at one point. Okay, yeah. Let's reload the router again, and let's see if that configuration sticks with it. If this freaking if that doesn't work, then I don't know what to do at that point. I'll have to ask I'll have to ask one of my friends who's a freaking Cisco expert to see what the frick is going on. Because that's pretty concerning. Also interesting that this that router is blowing out pretty hot air. None of my other ones do that. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. It's gonna be really annoying if this router doesn't work because I kind of need it. Okay, so that's different. That's a lot different. Normally, it would throw down a whole bunch of other stuff. Maybe the config register was set incorrectly. No SRE loads. Huh. Yeah, this is definitely different. Yeah, this is definitely different. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe some idiot had this thing set to a incorrect config register. We'll see here. Unknown user, unknown reason, RF reload data. Oh god. I wonder if this version of iOS is corrupted itself. If this isn't the issue. Compare next, no, reload. Where's all that? Cool crap. Router, okay, we'll enable. We'll figure the terminal. We'll set the host name to test, exit, we'll write the memory, and we'll reload. And if that test is not there after this thing reloads, then this router has a bigger issue. And if that doesn't work, then I will put a new. I'll put a different version of iOS on here. Right. Put a different version of iOS on here and see if that does anything. But this is looking like some sort of, if this config register was set incorrectly, that would be the issue. So we'll see. We'll see once this thing boots into iOS, and if that host name is not set to test, then we've got a big issue. Unfortunately, this router didn't even come with the CME license. It only came with the UCK9 license. So this thing won't work with CME, I believe. Like, that could be completely false, but we'll see here. I wonder what happens if I enable HTTP IP HTTP server on this thing, go to an IP address, and see what the frick happens. By its ATA system contact flash read write. Okay, I'm gonna let these logs do its thing, and then let's see if the host name is set to test. And if it's not set to test, like I said, I can't configure this router because it's just gonna lose its configuration the second I reload it. Sweet, it was the config register. Someone ended up having, okay, so the issue was someone had the config register um set to freaking 0x2142, which if you don't know, that's how you get into a Cisco router if it has a password on it. So if there is a password on your Cisco router and you don't know what the heck it is, you can do special command break at boot up, do conf reg 0x what was it? I think 2142, I think. And it will bypass all the freaking running configuration of the Cisco. Then you boot into it, you write erase everything, you set a secret password for yourself that you know, and then in configure terminal, you set the config register back to 0x2102, and then you reload. So someone's had this config register set to the wrong place, which is why it was not persisting its config, which is good. That means I can continue with configuring this router. Well, my FXS lines would stop throwing fit. RDXL-72 FXS. Cool. I'm going to get a link going to the back of this Cisco router, and I'll start configuring this to my asterisk switch and get SIP working, get my SIP trunks configured, all that good stuff. Great. Eventually, I'm going to have a PRI a quad PRI connection coming from my Cisco 3945 router going into the back of the 2951 router, and it's going to do like 136 something phone lines. Let's see if I have an Ethernet cable available back here. I probably not. I probably do not. Oh Lord. I don't have an Ethernet cable. I don't think. Crap. That kind of sucks. Okay. So I'm going to have to get a temporary Ethernet cable. What is this? Is this a temporary Ethernet cable? It is not. Oh, I don't want to go back here. Dig out a freaking Ethernet cable. I got this one. This is absolute tangled mess though. It's all right. I'll use this and I'll clean it up later. And then I'm going to forget to clean it up later, and this cable's gonna lay across my floor for the next 30 years. God, this is so bad. Are you gigabit Ethernet 01 or 00? Can't tell. I hope you are. I think you are. Okay. Let's figure it. Let's get the link up here. Oh, that's on my one map. Okay, so what we're gonna do, if my chair would be good. Really? IP address, DHCP, because I don't know what my available IP addresses are on this network. So once it gets assigned an IP address, I'll just static it. Description, uplink, no shuts. Cool, the link is up. Let's see if it gets assigned an IP address. let's go ahead and set my IP name servers. By the way, I'm not configuring this to be a router. Like I said, it's just going to be a register to my asterisk switch. But I found that it doesn't work properly if you don't set a IP route in the first place. So let's just set an IP route here. And then let's set our IP name servers. IP name. I don't know how to do this. There we go. And I'll set the backup to 8.8.8.8. Configure.console. So let's see if I can ping. Let's see if I can ping Cloudflare 1.1.1.1. Ooh, I can't. Okay. Show IP interface brief. So it didn't automatically get an IP address. That's kind of upsetting. Wonder what happens if I unplug the link and plug it back in. See if it gets an IP address now. It's fine, whatever. We'll just configure it manually and hope I pick the right IP address. You know what? It would probably help if I had the freaking router on a 192.168.1. Whatever the frick network in the first place and not a 10.0 network. That would probably be extremely useful. Really gonna make me type the entire thing. Okay, there we go. I can reach the internet. Let's see, make sure DNS is working. Okay, cool. Sweet. Next, I'll do some asterisk stuff. Oh, God. I'm gonna register to this 817 block. And I'm going to set the username like this to put that there. I think that's everything. Before you guys start screaming, oh, you're sharing your password and you're using Chansip, I purposely set this password to the incorrect password for this video. Anycase works on older iOS, but if you want to see just an interface in run config, you can also do show and show run. Okay, let's see if it works. Let's see if that works. I'm interested now. Show run int. Hey, look at that. That's pretty sweet. Thanks for the tip. I love that. Where the heck is my cursor? I was going to play more about not using EMACS instead of playing about passwords. Okay. Even though this is commented out, I'm just going to okay. Let's see if I can get this thing to register first. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't need to be in here first. First, we need to do VoIP service. Oh, no, IP trusted. Wait, maybe I do that in SIP. No, IP. Maybe not. Hold on. That should have automatically corrected me there. Voice service VoIP. No IP trusted. Okay. I guess I have to type the whole thing for like whatever. Okay. Uh, I'm also just going to do back to protocol none too. Okay, now people are going to start screaming, "Oh, you're using no IP trusted authenticate. You're going to get hacked," and blah 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 blah. Okay, so what? Hacking. Alright, so let's start configuring the suppression. So I have a notepad document. Um, I have a notepad document here that I like to copy and paste from because it's kind of a lot of commands to do this, and then I just change this every single time. So I'm doing that right now. I'm just making this, editing this test document. I'll show y'all here in a second. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, exactly. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to see. And honestly, like I said, all this is inside of a private network in the first place. So chances of me getting hacked is fairly slim. And honestly, if for whatever reason I do end up getting hacked, what are they going to do? Start calling me at 12 a.m., which they're not going to be able to do because I have a call schedule on my phone. So being completely honest, the last thing I'm worried about is my asterisk getting hacked. If my asterisk gets hacked, I'll just change the port and then change the IP addresses of everything. Like, I don't really care. And plus, like, my freaking Linux box has, public key, private key authentication, whatever the heck. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste these commands in here, and hopefully it just registers to asterisk immediately. Let's see here. Sweet. That is exactly what I'd like to see right there. Great. All right, so the 2951 is now completely registered to asterisk. If you're going to expose it, put it in a DMZ. That they might ask multiple times. Yeah, exactly. Okay, very cool. This thing is now registered. So now I just got to do some dial pairs. I'm only going to configure one or two voice ports on this thing. So let's see what my running configuration is. Let's see what everything I've done. I don't care about any of this. Okay, so I'm gonna configure voice ports. Ooh, crap! I just realized something. Okay, that sucks a little bit. What I'm gonna do. I have a 72 FXS card in this 2951, so it's giving me 72 copper phone lines. But all three of them are Amphenol connectors on it that you can put into breakout blocks or breakout boards, whatever the frick you want to call them. I don't have any of those made up right now, and I don't feel like sitting here and crimping an Amphenol connector onto a 25 pair wire. So what I'm going to do is put a 4-port FXS card in the back of this 2951, and that's just a 4-port RJ11 thing, and I'll put it in the back of there so I can get a phone on this for testing. So I'm not going to use any of these voice ports. So I'm going to write the memory here and turn the router off so I can put this in real quick. So I really don't feel like sitting here and crimping a Amphenol connectors up right now and making an entire. I don't feel like doing that. So time to go behind my rack. This in slot 2 because it's right there and it's not covered by a mess of wires. I love how I went through the trouble of walking behind my rack without the freaking FXS card in my hand. Are you going to go in all the way, or are you just going to sit there and freaking nature with me? What the heck are you on? Okay, card is installed. I'm turning the router back on now. Yep, it got power. Wait for this thing to boot back up. Time now. Open my window because it's hot in here. Downside of running a freaking server rack in your bedroom. It's hot in here. Luckily, it's cold outside, so I just open my window and turn on my little fan. It's interesting because it seems like these quote-unquote bigger Cisco routers take longer to boot up. My 3945 router, which is my main telephone router, um, it will sit there. It will sit there at this screen for like probably about like 2 minutes, and then it will start finally booting into iOS. But all my other routers, like my 2921, every other router that I have, besides like my ancient 2600, would take. Okay, so it sits on this screen for like a minute or two. But anyways, as I was saying, besides like the 2600, which takes like 10 minutes to boot up, freaking these bigger Cisco routers take forever to do that. Lucky, it's -9 degrees Celsius here. My office is freezing even with the space heater on. Yeah, that sounds terrible. I like the cold. I'm in Texas, so it's like interesting. One day it's 85 degrees, and the next day it's like 27 degrees Fahrenheit outside. But right now it's only 63 outside, 63 degrees F outside, so that's pretty nice. It's currently 86 degrees in my room. Normally it's about 80. Normally it's about 80 degrees in my room, which is like my favorite temperature. So I'm literally cold blooded and I'm freezing everywhere else. So like 80 degrees in my room does not bother me at all. It's like very comfortable for me. Um, but uh, it sucks because in the winter, if I don't have my window open, when my parents have the heat pump and furnace on, whatever, it just pumps hot air into my room. So then, on top of the space heater that's currently sitting 2 inches away from me, I'm pumping hot air into my room, and so then it just gets really hot in here. So then, like, if I forget to open a window, so I open my window and it normally gets down to about 70 degrees in here once I do that, which is freezing to me, but whatever. Once this thing gets booted up, configure the dial peers, configure the voice ports. I'm only going to configure 2 voice ports on it for testing purposes. Once I know that, because like I said, this thing isn't even going to have a SIP registration on it. This thing's going to have a PRI link from my 3945 to that router, so that way I don't have multiple SIP trunks coming out my ISP or coming out my router. I just need to buy. I need to buy a quad port voice controller T1 card because I only have a single port one, and a single port only has like 20 channels, something like that. And so I need more, or else I'm only going to be able to run like 24 modes at the same time. Okay. Let's see what these 4 voice ports are. That FXS card. So I'll configure port 020 and 021, and I'll configure dial peers for those two. Uh, really? You're gonna start throwing logs at me the second I'm typing a command? Let's just wait, because it's going to do a lot more. Destination mesh pattern 239. Session protocol SIP v2 session target DNS colon. Turn on freaking. What is it? G711 ULOC. Okay, main dial here is now configured. Let me look at the chat here. Pretty sure the command is no logging console to turn that off. Ooh, let's try it. Thank you. All right, let's configure a voice port. Oh God, what was the voice port we were doing? I forgot. I think it was 020. Yeah. Oh God. Trying to remember how to do this. I'll set this to 30 seconds. Name will just be a test. Number 8170001. Oh, frick. And let's do. There's fine. 2/1. All right, now let's configure the dial pairs for that. Let me look at the chat real quick. Have you configured setting up a syslog server for all your networking and service? Yes, I have, but I just don't know if I really wanted to do that. If I didn't even really think it was necessary to do that. Maybe I'll do that someday. All right, we're almost done. If I configured everything correctly and I don't have to spend 30 hours in debugging hell, but let's configure the dial peers for those ports. Voice. Let's do 8170001 POTS. Hunt stop. Service DS app. Yes. Destination dash pattern 8170001. port 0/2/0. No sip dash R. No shut. Do the same thing for Valkyrie voice 002 hot. Alright, we should be completely configured. Oh, you know what? I completely misread your comment right here about have you considered setting up a syslog server for all that bullcrap. I had a software called Zabbix installed, and I love Zabbix, and it worked really good, and it was great. I had all my VMs, all my networking. I had like an SNMP server configured on my Cisco stuff to point to the Zabbix server. It works great until freaking I was doing something in that Linux box, and I don't know what the heck I did. Oh yeah, I remember what I did. I had to reboot the thing, and I didn't feel like logging into the Linux box and doing sudo reboot now. So I just did it through Hyper-V. I was going to shut it down with the shutdown button and turn it on. But in Hyper-V, it's kind of stupid. In Hyper-V, they have a turn off and shut down button. The turn off just is like the same thing as ripping the plug out of the back of your server. Um, which is bad for it, right? And the shutdown is the same thing as doing sudo shutdown -f now, right, in Linux. So I accidentally hit turn off instead of shut down. And when I turned it back on, it corrupted a whole bunch of files and stuff, and Zabbix stopped working. So I need to go ahead and I need to reinstall Zabbix and get all that configured. I had Nagios, or however you pronounce it, actually email me and stuff, and they called me like 100 times about wanting me to buy their premium plan or something, because somehow they found out that one of the companies I work for was doing IT stuff for the school that I was working at, and it was just some big bullcrap thing. And I've heard good things about Nagios. I personally don't like the UI of it, so I decided to go with Zabbix instead. Okay, what am I doing? Oh yes, I'm going to get a phone and plug it into the voice port. And we're going to see if I suck at configuring a Cisco router. We're going to see if this works first try. It's actually going to be like insane if this works first try, because if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think it's going to work first try. So I'll plug in something into voice port 0 on the FXS card, and I'll plug this in to the back of my landline phone. And I'm sorry I don't have a camera to show you this, so y'all are just going to have to take my word that it's either broken or working. Okay, let's go to asterisk, my asterisk console. The frick, that's my IP, so I'm pretty sure I did no SIP register. Whatever, ignore that. It's probably because I didn't do no SIP register. Okay, let's set the verbose to 100 here, and let's see if the call goes through. So I'm going to make a call. I'm going to call out from my Cisco router that I just configured to my phone system. And my desk phone is currently ringing. I don't know if you can see. Go to right here, right here. RDXL72FXS, that's a test router. Call to RDXL telerouter. Test, test, test. I can hear myself over the phone. Hang up. Sweet. So outbound calls work. Let me try to call that number and make sure that works. So that is not on the 682 block. And it looks like I cannot call that number yet. So I do have some sort of issue. Oh, I know exactly what the issue is. I need to find out my public IP, which changes like every once in a while. So you can know it. I don't care. And we need to go in here. We need to set the loopback IP address. So int loop 0 IP address. There. Now I should be able to call that number. Nope. Let's see what asterisk logs say. Why are we trying to dial 682? Oh, wait, hold on. 817-001. Computing. Busy here. Is everybody congested? It's because I left the freaking phone. I left the phone off hook. Okay, now we're ringing. Sweet. Awesome. Testing. Testing. Sweet. That is great. So it looks like the entire configuration is working. I have this registered to the 817 block that is on registered to me from TandemX. So that is awesome. We have successfully configured this Cisco router to register to my asterisk switch, which is freaking amazing. I'm not hitting enter, you freaking nature. Oh, dang, it does show the password. Okay, I'm not doing that right now. All right. Well, guys, that is pretty much the freaking configuration of this router. I am very happy that worked first try. Well, technically second try because I forgot to set the loopback IP on that router, which is cool. So I now own the entire 2900 series of Cisco routers, which is interesting. I wish I didn't. It's kind of funny to say, well, I'm glad I own everything, the 2900 series of routers, but freaking, I wish I didn't have to buy a new router. I had to buy the 2951 because the 72 FXS card doesn't work in the 2921, which is very, very frustrating. But that is pretty much it. The router is completely configured, set up with my asterisk switch, and everything seems to be working perfectly fine. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Hope you enjoyed me troubleshooting and messing around with a Cisco router. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.